What's up guys, it's 2019, March 2019. Just wanted to do a quick video because, like I say, it's March 2019 now. It's been so long since I put a video out. I think the last video I put out was the story, the Super Mario Bros. Story for my son, which I actually shot last year. I wasn't even really going to put it on YouTube, but made it easier for me to be able to play it to him, just having it on my phone on the go whenever I needed to. So, and then you guys got to see it as well, so that was worth it. Just wanted to do a video really because it's been so long. Obviously in a new set now because we've moved house recently, moved a few miles down the road. Nice bigger place for us as well. Not so much bigger for the games collection, you know, but it needs must with the baby and all. So we've got loads of his toys out now, so he's taking over and he's going to have all these games eventually anyway, so that's fine. So yeah, just want to do a quick video, talk about a few things for the year and obviously some pickups, so stuff that I got for Christmas and a few games I've picked up since, just to add to the collection. Not terribly retro stuff exactly, but more stuff that I wanted to pick up whilst the price was good, or you know, for that sort of reason. So we'll go through and I'll explain a couple of them as well. There's a handful of 3DS titles that I've picked up, mainly because a lot of the stuff that 3DS is going so cheap now. It's the perfect time to be buying stuff for it. So we've got Animal Crossing. This is the Wild World, is it? No, New Leaf, my bad. Animal Crossing New Leaf. Never ever owned an Animal Crossing game, but it's the sort of game that sounds like if I had a bit of time to put into it, I'd quite enjoy. It's that sort of game that I'd quite like. And I've known a fair few people who love the Animal Crossing series, and they say this is probably the best one of it. And you know, with a potential they will come into the Switch at some point soon. The Nintendo Select copy of this for the 3DS is so cheap now, so I had to get that. I got that for Christmas. I also got this for Christmas, which you might think is an odd choice to get since I own the Wii U version, which is probably the more complete version. However, again, this was so cheap now. You know, these Nintendo Select games are like under £15 each, brand new. They're just great to add to the collection, and pretty much the best 3DS titles are in the Select sort of category now. So they're so cheap. This I mainly got, not for the making of the levels, but because you can actually, there's like a whole new game they've thrown into here. They've made their own 100 levels that are, you know, made by Nintendo, I think, as far as I know. So it's almost like having a whole new Super Mario Bros. Game, and being a collector of Super Mario Bros. and the general series, which we'll get onto shortly, the core series, this was a must. The other one I picked up recently, which I haven't even opened yet, still sealed, was Mario & Luigi Paper Jam Brothers. Now the Mario RPG games are a series I'm trying to dive into a bit more, with a lot of love for the original Super Mario RPG and the Paper Mario games and stuff. So I haven't played a lot of them to death, but this had recently gone on sale at Argos. This was down to £13, I think. So I had to pick that up. I've already got the Dream Team Brothers game, and it seems like they're re-releasing all the series on the 3DS, and hopefully they'll all go quite cheap at some point. I'll be able to sort of clear up. I think there's only one on the DS that was released that's not been re-released for the 3DS. You've got the original Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story have been re-released, and obviously you had the two original titles for the 3DS. So there's 4 of the 5, I think, Mario and Luigi games just on the 3DS now. I'll talk about a couple of Switch games that I've got. So my brother-in-law and his girlfriend got me a double pack, which I've actually got rid of the packaging for because I don't think it's a necessity. Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania. Been desperately wanting to get Sonic Mania for a while, so it's great to have that in the collection. Been playing that a lot. Haven't played much on Sonic Forces yet. Very mixed reviews on that. Not usually a big fan of the 3D series, but as far as the 3D games go, I think it's one of the better ones. You know, you can probably tell me otherwise. But I think Sonic fans have enjoyed this, but a lot of other people just like to whinge, don't they? But Sonic Mania is a great throwback. It's such a fun game. The other one I picked up recently, again, because it's quite cheap, was NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. Doesn't roll off the tongue. This is mainly because it's basically NBA Jam for the modern era, and you know, my history of the NBA games, just love NBA Jam, and although there's a lot of unlocking and grinding to get the players and stuff. Because I don't religiously follow the NBA like I used to, even a few years back when San Antonio Spurs won. You know, a lot of the players, I'm not too fussed about unlocking the greater players. I'll do it over time. You can pay to unlock them microtransaction wise, but I'd rather just play through it and have fun with it. Can imagine Rudy coming around to play a stint of this at some point. We might have to get another Black Arrow Game Talk episode on with Robbie Gibson and Andy Townsend as well, like we did for the NBA Jam on the Wii, but with the more up-to-date stuff. So that's fun. A couple of games that I'd actually picked up from Rudy from Retromania months ago, but I've actually only picked them up from his house. I bought them ages ago and just hadn't picked them up for ages. Well, first one is Men in Black 2 Alien Escape. That's mainly for the future video I'm going to do on the Will Smith related video games. Whether or not the character of Will Smith is in here, it looks like he might be, but I think this might be based on the animation. But either way, it's probably terrible, but it needs to be picked up. The other one was Capcom Classics Collection, which is, I have a lot of these games on other formats, but I like to own the official releases of these sort of compilations because they're good to have. You know, there's a lot of good titles on there. You got 1942 and 43. You got Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition and Hyper Fighting. So 3 of the main Street Fighter 2 arcade releases, which is actually pretty cool. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Mercs, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts. So all the ones I've probably got elsewhere, but it's just good to have them on a compilation. And PS2 is really good for that as well. We have the Midway ones and whatnot, and I would like to pick up some more when I spot them. I'll hopefully pick them up at some of the gaming markets or whatever. And the final 2 pickups I got, again, because they were quite cheap, and I wanted to, well, there's a story behind me picking up Super Mario Galaxy, because I already own this. However, I lent it to a friend a few years back, but because he lent me something else many years prior to that I can't find for the life of me, I tried digging it up. I'm going to let him keep this as a trade, we'll say, because I can't find currently the thing that he lent me. I think it was a Game Boy Advance flashcard sort of device, but I can't find it for the life of me. I feel bad, so he can keep my copy of Mario Galaxy. I probably should tell him this. So I picked up that and its sequel again, because although I own this as a digital download on my Wii U, I want to own the physical copies. And this is where I'm going to get to the point of my idea for the year of collecting is I want to pick up all of the mainline Super Mario series physical releases. I've got a reasonable amount already. Some are cart only, so I do want to get boxed versions. So they're the sort of things I'll be looking out for. The original trilogy on the NES. I do own Mario World and Yoshi's Island, if you count that as a core thing. I'm going to anyway. Both the Galaxies now. I've got 3D World and Odyssey physical releases. So there's still a few for me to get physical releases of again, sort of 64, Mario Sunshine. But they're all manageable games to get as physical releases. So that, you know, the Mario collection is going to grow over time, and that's my main thing. Talking about the collection side, is the main thing is the Super Mario collecting from now on. You know, I'm going to cut back on just picking up willy-nilly titles. You know, the NES dream is still on to pick up all the titles I'm familiar with that I want to. Basically, everything that I played as a kid, either I owned myself or borrowed from people or played at friends. The list is a lot larger than I'd like, but the NES is becoming a reasonable price console to buy for, especially the UK releases of the games that I'm after. You know, none of them are too rare. Most of them are under £10-12, even a lot that you'll find at the events for a £5. So there's nothing stopping me every time I go to an event to pick up a couple of titles, add to the collection. I'm in no rush to fill it because I haven't had the NES out in years to play, so it's more for when my son is older and I can sit with him and talk to him about the games I used to play as a kid. And even then, it's kind of like, do you just get the Retro Pi out and just drill him out that way? But I think it'd be nice to talk to him about the stories behind the carts and everything, you know, make him understand that way. Just want to talk again. Yeah, so that's the collecting idea is, you know, is the full Super Mario set plus any Mario spin-off titles. I'm always willing to look at picking up them as well, you know, in and out. But when they turn up at events and stuff, not purposely going to be sitting on eBay for, you know, looking for titles. It's more fun picking them up as you find them. Talking about events, there's a few things we're going to be planning on going to this year. I've got first up will be, well, it's not even an event, is it really? I'm going to be going to Arcade Club finally in Bury up in Greater Manchester. Because my wife got us surprised me with tickets for my birthday for the Rap Gods show with Wu-Tang, Public Enemy and De La Soul. So can't wait for that. But we thought while we're up there, first thing on the Sunday when it opens, before we come home, is spend a couple of hours at Arcade Club, just so she can experience what an arcade would have been like, you know. I mean, even for me back in the early 90s, going to the arcades at the seasides is still not quite the same as going to what I think Arcade Club's going to be like. You know, you get a lot of the arcade games, but they'll be interspersed with other stuff. But the memories are there. So to take her along, obviously she's familiar with some of the older games. I mean, she was born in the 90s anyway, so you know, a lot of the games we'll be playing are as old as she is or older. So it's kind of like, you know, it'd be a good thing for her to check out and I don't think she'll be excited as I will be, but you know, that's just that. But we're going to go hit up Arcade Club. That's in May. We've got Revival, which I think is in June. Don't quote me on that, but I've already bought my tickets for that. So me and Rudy are going to that. Might be a couple of other guys coming along. I know Sam Palmer, Hardcore Gamer's shown a bit of interest. So I'll have to check up on him and see if he's coming. We've got potentially Leicester Comic Con as well. That's like a week later, I think, from Revival, or a week before. So that's pretty crazy. That's going to be a busy time. There's a couple of London gaming markets coming up. I know there's one literally this weekend, which I won't be getting to, but might be going to one. But I've got to talk to Rudy about it. It's either the summer or the end of the year one again, just before Christmas. So we'll see which one works best for us, which one we can get to, but we'll definitely be going to that. There's also a Yorkshire gaming thing up in Sheffield, I think, in November. I know, I think Craig Turner, who deals with Revival, is involved in that as well. I think that's more for the trading side, but there will be games to play as well. So that's going to be a bit of a mishmash, but because I used to live in Sheffield and it'd be a good chance to go visit a couple of people up there, I might try and, I'll consider going to that as well, because, you know, it's always worth checking out the newer events. I think that's it from the top of my head of what events we're going to be going to. Obviously there'll be an MCM at some point later in the year in Birmingham that I think my wife and whatnot want to go to as well, so definitely be going to one of them as well. So yeah, plenty to look forward to this year, guys. And the videos will be a bit less than they have been in the previous years. You know, I regularly try and get at least one a month out on average before, and obviously that's, I think the last video other than the story video was back in November for MCM Birmingham then. So it's going to be less videos, it's true, but we'll be filming at the events, even if it's not a full-on taking the full camera rig with us. You know, we're shooting on phone, which is actually what I'm doing now. This is more of a trial thing. I just got a new phone recently. I'm only shooting in 720p to save memory and to see how it looks, and I'm not even plugged the microphone in. So obviously any echoes, it'd be partly the room and partly the phone, and anything that's coming in and out of focus, I do apologise. But yeah, that's... I thought I'd shoot on the phone, just give it a try, check it out, and we'll see what the results are, because I'm not going to reshoot this video on my video camera if it's poor, but it's literally just me yapping away, so that's fine. Another thing to point out is this television set, which actually is my wife's. She got it given from family, because she's into a retro stuff, hence the record player and a lot of vinyl about, and the decor as well. That's all the vintage stuff she's into, so, you know. But the TV is kind of cool because I did a bit of research into the model, and it's a black and white one from about 1977, and it's got a proper Atari 2600 VCS look about it with the wood grain and the black. So it'd be kind of cool for me to dig out the Atari just to plug it into that. I don't know if I still need to get an RF cable that I might have lost over the years, but I also could try the NES and SNES on there. The best thing about it is it's basically like, there was a TV that my parents had. It was their portable TV, so we had the main TV downstairs as a kid and the black and white portable, which was also a Ferguson, but if I remember right, I don't know why I know this, I might have done some research on it years ago, that was dated about 1982, but it's basically the same thing. You got your power and volume button up here all in one, and then your tuning down here. Similar size. It was more just plastic, if I remember right, and it was white, so it was very 80s, but it was basically the same TV as this, so it's very cool to have that here. And to be honest, like, the first time I owned my own console was the Atari 2600, and I played it on there, on the black and white TV, a lot more before I got it hooked up to the main TV downstairs. So I experienced all them games in black and white for so long. And even when my friend used to bring his NES round for sleepovers, we'd play on the black and white TV. And to be honest, like, you know, although I played the NES on colour before, it didn't take away from the experience at all. You know, the game, you zoned in on the game. It really didn't matter that it was black and white. So it was kind of it's kind of cool to have that, and I'll probably do a video of me first using it for the first time with the Atari or the NES, because I'm not sure. I have a feeling she's turned it on at one point to check it worked still. Obviously, without like a freeview box or something, you're not going to pick up anything anyway, even from the aerial that's in there. But for vintage video games on a classic black and white, it's great to have in the house. I'm looking forward to having a bit of a throwback with that. So, guys, cheers for sticking around. I know we've not put out a lot of content, and I appreciate you watching today. If you're new to the channel, which I probably don't think you would be for a random pickups video, please hit subscribe, because it's actually getting quite close to 200 subscribers. It's been steadily growing throughout the last sort of year or so, and it's nice to get new subscribers. If I can hit 200, then that would be really cool considering the content I put out. But thanks again, guys, and we will catch you soon. Peace.